This is Hero's engine. It's essentially a steam-powered rocket engine that was invented almost 2,000 years ago. Despite its age, Hero's engine uses the same principles that still power modern rockets, steam turbines, and jet engines. And to show you just how powerful this ancient technology can be, I'm going to take Hero's engine to the extreme and use it to spin a ping pong ball to over 18,000 RPM. Hero's engine, or Aeola pile as it was originally known, was invented by Hero of Alexandria around 100 AD. It was one of the first examples of thrust, 1,600 years before Newton described it. Let me show you how it works. I put some water inside this bulb here. If I add enough heat to the bulb, the water inside will start to boil and turn to steam. This quickly increases the internal pressure. The only place that the steam can escape is out these nozzles on the side. The steam is exiting the nozzles in this direction, so the very last kick the molecules give before sent out of the device pushes the device in the opposite direction, causing it to spin. For example, I can use the same principle if I want to spin in my chair but I don't have anything to push off against. If I just throw this weight in this direction, I'll be pushed the opposite direction. Ugh. It worked. It's the same principle that rockets use to get to space. In fact, you could say that Hero's engine was the first rocket engine, even though nobody realized it at the time. The nice thing about using thrust to power something is that it doesn't matter how fast you're already going. You can always move faster because you're carrying the fuel with you. This means that rockets and Hero's engine can reach insane speeds. With water and fire, I clocked my Hero's engine at 2,500 RPM. But let's see what we can get if we make some improvements. First, let's swap out the heavy metal bulb with a much lighter ping pong ball. And let's swap out the water for liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen has the benefit that you don't need any fire to turn it into a gas. The ambient temperature of the room will do that for you. So it's basically like taking a regular Hero's engine and throwing it in a furnace. The liquid nitrogen expands by 700 times its original volume when it turns into a gas. So let's see what happens. First, I just need to make a hole for the liquid nitrogen to go in. This will also serve as our hole for the gas to come out as well. So I'll just make a pinhole in the side and bend it so that it's angled. This makes it so the gas isn't just shot straight out, but it's coming out at an angle that will turn the ping pong ball. Then you dunk the ping pong ball in liquid nitrogen. As soon as we dunk it in the nitrogen, the gas that was inside the ball will shrink significantly due to the rapid cooling. This creates a slight vacuum that'll pull in the liquid nitrogen. So you're left with a tiny amount of liquid nitrogen inside the ping pong ball now. Okay, so I figure the safest thing to do is to toss it into here at first, because I'm not sure if it's gonna explode. Okay, let's see what happens here. Whoa, look how fast it's spinning. The writing on it just disappears in a blur. That's so cool. So how fast is this actually spinning? So I colored one side of the ball black and I'm gonna use my tachometer to clock the rotational speed. Here we go. Oh, 11,000 RPM. Oh, I saw 18,000, 13,000 for a sec. Now, one thing that'll increase the pressure higher, and thus the speed of the exiting nitrogen gas, is to heat the ball up faster. So let's see what happens when I put it in a shallow dish of warm water. Oh. That was fast. I wasn't able to clock it, but the pitch of it was so much higher than any of the previous ones that I'd done before, so I know it was going much faster. If some of you smarty pants want to try to figure out the speed based on the pitch of this one compared to the earlier ones where I was measuring the speed, let me know in the comments section. I couldn't replicate this one with water because most of the time it just stayed in the water and the water significantly slowed it down. I tried other ways to have it spin with no friction, like levitating it on my superconductor. Oh. But that didn't work very well either. Oh yeah, and one tip, if you're ever trying to show the Magnus effect with a 10,000 RPM ping pong ball, make sure that the Magnus effect will make it move away from you instead of towards you. The ball actually exploded here. I found that they don't normally explode, but if they have any impacts while they're cold and spinning, then they will explode. Hero's engine is a fascinating example of using a clever design to create motion from a simple principle. And speaking of clever designs that make complex things simple, let me tell you about our sponsor, Odoo. With Odoo's website builder, you can build your own website that elevates your brand in minutes, totally free, with hosting and support included. This is my website that was made with Odoo. Odoo makes it super simple. Your first app is free for life, and they even include a custom domain for the first year. There are no hidden costs. Just a full website builder that gets you online and growing your brand completely free. Their setup is lightning fast as well. Just a few clicks and you're good to go. With Odoo's drag and drop tools, there's zero coding needed. You can customize everything exactly how you want. And with Odoo's ChatGPT integration, it helps you craft and polish your text effortlessly. Odoo doesn't just give you the tools, they back it up with unlimited hosting and support, so you're never on your own. So if you're looking to boost your brand and create a professional online presence, you can try out Odoo by clicking the link in my description. And thanks to Odoo for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to our experiment. Now, one question you might have after seeing the experiment with liquid nitrogen is, if it can generate power just from the ambient heat in the room, why don't we just use liquid nitrogen to power cars and the atmosphere will heat the nitrogen without a need for fuel? Well, liquid nitrogen engines have already been made actually. In a piston engine, you can have incoming air that gets compressed and that heats up the piston, and then you send in liquid nitrogen, which then expands and pushes the piston back down. The exhaust from this engine would just be nitrogen, which is what 78% of the atmosphere is already made from. So it would be completely clean. But if this is possible, then why don't we use liquid nitrogen to run our cars? Well, in order to make the liquid nitrogen, we have to condense nitrogen from the air. This takes power and energy. If you look at how much energy it takes to make liquid nitrogen versus how much energy you could get back out of it, you'll find that you use more energy making the liquid nitrogen than you get back out of it in the engine. This is because liquid nitrogen isn't an energy source, but just a method to transfer stored energy. With the original Hero's engine, the heat is the true energy source, not the evaporating water that gives us these extreme speeds. But if we can get these crazy speeds and power from Hero's engine, why didn't it revolutionize the world when Hero invented it thousands of years ago? Well, one big reason is fuel efficiency. Hero's engine uses a lot of fuel to create a little bit of motion. The technology to harness steam effectively just didn't exist yet. It wasn't until the 1700s that inventors like Thomas Newcomen and James Watt figured out how to harness steam power to do useful work. These machines later fueled the Industrial Revolution. In fact, over 80% of the world's electricity is still generated by spinning turbines, often using steam like this. For example, this steam turbine works by directing high-speed steam over blades to produce continuous rotational force. It's basically Hero's engine, but refined and way more powerful. Hero's engine was one of those ideas that seemed like just another curiosity at the time. But sometimes curiosity is exactly what we need. It opens the door to new discoveries. And even though it didn't change the world back then, Hero's engine has had a huge impact on science and engineering today. And it all started with a little steam and a clever idea. And by the way, while researching this video, I found that the backyard scientist used liquid propane to do the same thing and spin a ping pong ball over 9 years ago. And he got to really high RPMs using that method as well. And thanks for watching another episode of the Action Lab, and we'll see you next time.